Welcome to this episode of Algebra series. Today, we're diving into how to graph linear functions in two variables, a key skill in understanding algebra. If you're learning algebra step by step, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a thing, and your support helps keep these lessons coming. I'm going to start with some definitions. What does graphing means? It means you draw something for a relation in mathematics, a relation like this. And what does function mean? Function is a special relation in mathematics. I'm going to explain it more in upcoming videos. But now for us, function is a relation like this. And I'm going to explain it further. And in two variables, variables like y and x, these are variables. These are things that can be changed. So let's do it. If you look closely to this guy here, it is a relation between one variable, y, and another variable, x. What does it tell us? It tells us that y is always equals to x. So if, for example, x is 1, then y should be 1. And if x, for example, is minus 1, then y should be minus 1. X can be anything, 0 to infinity to minus infinity, and y will be exactly as x is. Now we have two variables that can be anything, so you know a way to show numbers. It is number lines. So let me just draw a number line here like this. This is a number line, and let me just set this point as the 0 of this number line. And this is a number line of x. I'm going to show x on this guy here. And in the same way, I need another number line to show y on it. You know, it is more convenient to have two number lines when you have two variables. So I'm going to rotate my ruler 90 degrees like this and draw another number line for y. Alright. For the sake of convenience, I'm going to say that the 0 of these two number lines coincide. Alright, I don't need the ruler anymore, and I have my number lines at my disposal. Now let's show our numbers on them. Let's start with x. We have 1 for x, so it can be here. This is 1. And minus 1 for x also. These two are for x. And for y, we have 1 and minus 1 again, but on this guy here. Remember? That was y. So we have 1 and minus 1. But something happens. When x is 1, y is also 1. I call these pair a point on this flat sheet that we have here. It means that these two numbers are related. How? Look here. This is a point whose x is 1 and whose y is also 1. And this point actually satisfies this relation here. Okay, so I have my first point. Let me just call it 1 and 1. What about the other point whose x and y are minus 1? Let's show it on the graph. So we have minus 1 for x, remember, and minus 1 for y. And this is a point whose x is minus 1 and y is also minus 1. Now it is time to introduce another concept, linear functions. What does that mean? In our previous videos, I explained that in linear functions, you can actually see at most power 1 for variables. So this is the case in this example. This is a linear function, and also when you graph it, when you draw it, you end up with a straight line. And remember, if you want to specify a straight line, you need to specify 2 points on it, and that's enough. That's what we have done so far. 2 points on something that we know that it is going to be a line. Now, all we need to do is to grab our ruler again and connect these 2 points to form our line. And this goes, it should be extended from that direction and that direction because it is a line. It goes to plus infinity and minus infinity. That is graphing this relation. Let's go to the next example where we have y equals x plus 1. So it is again a function. Y here is a function of x. How? Y is always greater than x by 1. All right, let's specify some points. You can choose any number. For example, again, I use 1 for x, and what will be y? If you set x 1 and 1 plus 1 is 2, so y should be 2. And also you can set minus 1 or minus 1 is not bad. If you set minus 1, here we have minus 1 plus 1 is 0, so y should be 0. We have again 2 points to specify on our graph. Okay, the first point has x1. So again, on the x number line, we have 1 here. And y should be 2. See, 1, 2. This is 2 on y-axis. And if you connect these two, you get this point. And the other point has x minus 1. Again, this should be x and y 0. So on y you should not go up or down. You should stay at the origin for y. And the point that you're looking for is here. Why? Because this point has x minus 1, but its y is 0. You don't go up or down. All right, again, let's grab our ruler and connect these 2 points. And we end up with something like this. This is our second line. But what happened here? It is x plus 1. The previous one was x. So this plus 1 means that you have the same line here, but shifted up by 1 unit. So now, I guess you can answer the final one. If you want to just be wise, we can tell, okay, this is just the same thing here, the blue one, but you need to shift it down by 3 units. This is the effect of this guy here. Let's go to the next examples. Here we have the function y equals to 2x. So whatever x is, you multiply it by 2, and that will be your y, your second variable. Let's have a table, x and y. The first choice can be 1, x can be 1, and y should be 2. Why? Because 2 times 1 is 2. And the other one can be minus 1 for x, and 2 times minus 1 is just minus 2. Again, we have 2 points and we can specify them on our coordinate system. This is coordinate system here, whatever you want to call it. The first point, x is 1. So this is 1. And y is 2. 1, 2. And connect these 2 points. This is 1 and 2. The point, you can just show it by a pair. 1 and 2. 1 for x and 2 for y. Okay, the next point, its x is minus 1 and its y is minus 2. Minus 1, minus 2, and connect these two, you end up here, and this is minus 1 and minus 2, this point. Now, what was the next step is to connect these 2 points to have a line. All right, let's do it. This is our line. But do you remember the line from the previous page? I invite you to go and see it by yourself. but I can't draw it. It was something like that. I'm pretty sure. You can check it. And I'm going to compare these two lines. The orange one, which is y equals to x, and the pink one, which is y equals to 2x. You can now see the effect of this number here. Actually, it increased the slope of this line. The orange line has the slope, whatever it is, but the slope of this one is just twice as that one. So the effect of the number that is multiplied by x is the slope. If I give you this function and I ask you what is the slope, you would say it is 2. If I give you y equals to x and I ask you what is the slope, you can say, okay, there should be a 1 here and the slope is 1. What about that one? Y equals to minus 3x. What is the slope? It is minus 3. But let's draw it to see what does negative slope mean. Again, we have a table, x and y. Let's again say x can be 1 and y is minus 3. Why? Because minus 3 times 1 is simply minus 3. See? And let's say that x can be minus 1 and y should be positive 3, because minus 3 times minus 1 is simply positive 3. Okay, we have again 2 points and we are ready to draw our line. But first, let's just specify these points on the graph. For the first one, we have x1, like here again, but the y is minus 3. Minus 1, minus 2, and minus 3. And connect these two to get this point. This is 1 and minus 3. Remember, x, y. The second point, its x is minus 1, but its y is positive 3. 1, 2, 3. And connect these two, you end up here. Again, this is minus 1 and positive 3. Now, what should we do? We should grab our ruler. Okay, here is our ruler. And connect these 2 points like this. I'm doing my best. And the white line is y equals to minus 3x. See, first, the slope is increased. It is more inclined. This white line is more inclined than, these 2 lines. But there's only one more important difference. If you move in this direction on these lines, for example, let's imagine that this is a mountain and you're moving in that direction. You always move in that direction. You need to, you go up if you move on this line. For example, let's imagine you are here at the first time and after some hour you are here. So you go up. The same thing happens on this line too. If you go from here to here, you go up. And what was the slope of these 2 lines? 1 and 2, both positive. What about that one? It is minus 3x. If I ask you what is the slope, you would say it is minus 3. Now imagine again, this is a mountain and you always move in that direction. And in the first place, you are here. And after a while, you are here because you need to go that way. And you can see that you're going down. So that's how you can imagine the concept of slope, negative slope and positive slope. Okay, let's go to the next question. This is a function again of x. Y is 4x plus 1. Whatever is x, you first multiply it by 4 and then add it by 1. And that will be your y. But if I ask you what is the slope, you would say it is 4. So I'm going to do it briefly here and let you to draw a table and, draw it more precisely. But imagine this is just y equals to x. Now this slope should be multiplied by 4. the slope is 4 times bigger than that, so we should have a line. We should have a more steep line. Let's say that's y equals to 4x. And then you need to shift it up by 1 unit, like this. Like this. See, I shifted that line up by 1 step. So that will be y equals to 4x plus 1. But again, I'll let you do it by yourself. And now I'm going to go to the next problem. This is a very important one because I'm going to explain the concept of x-intercept and y-intercept, and you're going to find the coordinate of those points. But first, let us to draw that line. Again, this is a linear function, but has a very ugly look. But it is not hard to draw such a line. So let's begin by having a table. And maybe we can say x can be 0, because 0 is a very, very easy choice. And if you put 0 here, 4 times 0 will be 0. And you have 3y equals to 9. And this is a linear equation, a very simple one. Y should be 9 over 3, then y is 3. So if x is 0, y should be 3, and that is our first point. But remember, we need 2 points to draw a line. So let's find our next point. So let's say x can also be -1. And from here we have 3y minus 4 times -1 equals to 9. Hence, 3y plus 4. Why? Because -4 times -1 is +4, is +4, equals to 9. And 3y equals to 9 minus 4. We have 3y equals to 5. And in the end, y is 5 over 3. 5 over 3. All right, we have our 2 points. Now let's show them on the graph. The first one is easy, 0 and 3. For x, this is 0. You shouldn't go left or right, just stay at the origin. But for y, you need to go up by 3 units. And this is our first point. What about the last one? Its x is -1 here, and its y is 5 over 3. What is 5 over 3? 5 over 3 is simply 3 plus 2 over 3. And it is 3 over 3 plus 2 over 3. 3 plus 3 is simply 1, and plus 2 over 3. So it is 1 plus 2 over 3. Now, we need to first go up by 1 unit, and then 2/3 of a unit. If from here to there is a complete unit, we need to divide it to 3 parts. So 1, 2, and 3 parts. See, this is the first part, this is the second part, and this is the last part. So we divide it to 3 parts, and we only need 2 parts of those 3 parts. So we end up here. Okay, it is 1 plus 2/3. And our point should be somewhere here, because its x should be -1, remember? And its y is 5 over 3. And again, we need to use our ruler to connect these 2 points, and that will be our line. That ugly looking formula here is simply this beautiful line there. Okay, we need to find the coordinate of the x-intercept and the coordinate of y-intercept. What does that mean? We actually found the coordinate of the y-intercept because at this point, the line actually meets the y-axis. The y-intercept coordinate is simply, x is 0. See, if I ask you what is the coordinate of this line, you would say its x is 0 and its y is 1, 2, 3. So y-intercept coordinate is 0 and 3. And this is important. If you want to find the y-intercept, you need to set x to 0. And in the same way, if you want to find the x-intercept coordinate, you need to set y equals to 0 and find x. Let's do it. Again, I can have a table x and y, but this time I'll set y equals to 0. So let's see what happens from here. 3 times 0 is 0 minus 4x equals to 9. So we have, I can just remove that thing. And this is an equation for x, and its solution is simply minus 9 over 4. So minus 9 over 4. I'll let you to specify that point on the coordinate, and I'm pretty sure that you will find this point here. Because as you can see, the y component of this point is 0. And that's where the line actually meets the x-axis. And that's the x-intercept coordinate. So its y should be 0, but we found its x, and that is minus 9 over 4. Okay, that concludes our video today. Stay tuned for more.